I am in Tudor dive watch heaven. So as a Tudor fangirl and just general dive watch enthusiast, this video seemed eventually inevitable. These are 3 watches I've wanted to review and compare against each other for a while now, but I just haven't had the opportunity until now. My husband recently bought the Pelagos FXD, so I've been dying to compare it against my Tudor Black Bay 58. And then last night we went out for drinks with our gorgeous, fabulous, wonderful friend Luke at watch.hightower on Instagram. So go give him a follow to say thank you. And he said, "Do you want to borrow my Pelagos 39? To which I replied, "Does the Pope shit in the woods?" That's not how that goes. But what I'm trying to say is I said yes. And here we are, all 3 of my favorite current catalog dive watch offerings from Tudor. Each of these has their own different pros and cons and different appeal. So let's compare these bad boys. Hi, happy Sunday. If you're new here, I'm Brittany, and I love watches to a weird degree, to the point that I've made an entire YouTube channel devoted to talking about them. God, I need a life. But today we are going to look at these 3 Tudor offerings and their unique advantages and disadvantages, and which one might be right for you. So when Rolex founder Hans Wilsdorf created Tudor, the aim was to offer Rolex quality watches at an everyman's price point. He did this by putting off-the-shelf movements into Rolex cases. Tudor has moved on and out of the shadows of Big Brother Rolex and has come to have its own unique identity. There are some watches where I personally choose the Rolex offering over the Tudor, like in the GMT offerings, but other times where I choose the Tudor over the Rolex, like in this case, the dive watch offerings. Let's start with the newest offering, so the Pelagos 39. So when this watch was first announced, I was in love. I bought my ticket and I was all aboard the hype train. And now that some time has passed, the buzz has settled, the hype is dying down, I'm still aboard that train. Looking at the specifications of this watch, it has a case size of 39 millimeters, thickness of 11.8 mil, a lug to lug of 47 millimeters, and it has 200 meters water resistance. The case material is grade 2 titanium, which gives it a slightly darker, almost more of a matte finish compared to steel, and of course makes it incredibly light. For the person who isn't as well versed in titanium grades, aka almost everyone, grade 2 and grade 5 titanium are the most common forms found in wristwatches. Grade 2 is commercially pure and provides all the things you want from titanium, so it is lightweight and corrosive resistant, but not quite as strong as alloys like grade 5. Grade 5 titanium is alloyed with aluminium and vanadium, resulting in increased strength. This is the grade that you would find in pricier titanium watches. Inside this watch is the caliber MT5400 COSC certified movement, giving you 70 hours of power reserve. On the wrist is where this watch really shines. The 39 millimeters is perfect for most wrist sizes. So here it is on my 5.5 inch wrist and my husband's 6.5 inch wrist. I think it ultimately looks a bit more proportional on him, but I still love it on mine. I love the more matte effect of the titanium, the sunburst bezel, high legibility. Everything is just... This is exactly the kind of watch that I want to buy next. I want a good, boring dive watch, no date, and I really want a titanium dive watch, so this ticks all the boxes for me. The Pelagos 39 corrects all the things that I don't like in my Tudor Black Bay 58 as well. There is no faux rivets on the bracelet, and it is fitted with the T-fit clasp and diver's extension for on-the-fly adjustments. I really can't find many things to complain about with this watch. Maybe the T-fit clasp is a bit long if I had to nitpick. The only thing that might not suit you is the price, so this is the most expensive out of the 3 we're looking at today, at £3,850, but I don't find that too surprising, as titanium is a harder material to work with, which often results in a pricier price point. That's saying price too many times. Now moving on to our next watch, and this is another Pelagos, looking at the Pelagos FXD. This one is the most different out of our 3 watches and actually really stands out in the Tudor catalog for how unique it is. So the FXD was born out of Tudor's connection with the French Navy, or Marine Nationale, and this modern expression was designed alongside and with direct input from Marine Nationale combat swimmers, which is pretty cool. How can you not think that's cool? I mean, Omega works with a guy who pretends to be a spy. Daniel Craig pretends to be a spy for a living, and we think that's cool. These guys actually designed a watch with combat swimmers. The FXD has a 42mm titanium case, 12.75mm thick, and a lug-to-lug of 52mm. So this is the largest watch of the 3, but it doesn't wear insanely large. Here it is on my 5.5-inch wrist versus my husband's 6.5-inch wrist. I do think it is ultimately too large for me, but perfect on a 6.5-inch wrist or larger. Inside this watch is the manufacturer caliber MT5602 COSC certified movement, giving you 70 hours of power reserve. Now, the 2 most unique things about this dive watch is the fixed spring bars and the bi-directional bezel. This is a watch created for a very specific person and a very specific mission, which means some of the features aren't necessarily made with the retail customer in mind. This watch is called the FXD because of its fixed spring bars. This is super common in military dive watches and offers the most security for your timepiece. On the downside, it does mean no bracelet, and you are limited to NATO strap pairings. That doesn't turn me off too much as a NATO strap lover and enthusiast, but I know it isn't for everyone and it is super limiting. And next, let's talk about the bidirectional bezel. Most dive watches have a unidirectional bezel, only going anti-clockwise to help you safely time your dives. But this bidirectional bezel is made for combat swimmers as a navigation instrument. I'll be doing a standalone video on this watch in the very near future, where we'll be getting into like the little tiny minutia of how to use this as a navigation instrument. But I think for this video's sake and comparing the 3, we'll leave it there for now. And looking at our last watch for today, this is my personal watch and a watch I probably ultimately talk about too much. The Tudor Black Bay 58 in blue. Is there anything more that needs to be said about this watch that hasn't been said? Probably not, but that's never stopped me before, and it's not going to stop me again today. To me, this is nearly the perfect dive watch. It has everything I look for, and this is the watch that I personally chose over the Rolex Submariner. So this has been a fan favorite since its introduction in 2018 in the black and gilt variation, and then the blue in August 2020. I think this watch is the closest we'll ever get to the relaunch of the Tudor Submariner, as much as we all would love it. But the 58 in Black Bay 58 pays homage to the 1958 Tudor Oyster Print Submariner Big Crown. Looking at the specifications, this is the only steel watch today, so a steel 39mm case size, a thickness of 11.9mm, and a lug-to-lug of 47.5mm. All these watches today have 200 meters water resistance, which is still more than you'll probably ever need. And inside the Black Bay 58 is the MT5402 COSC certified movement, giving you 70 hours of power reserve. The only big problems I could ever find with this watch is in the bracelet and the clasp. So the faux rivets aren't really to my taste, and the clasp has no on-the-fly adjustment, which is just rubbish on a dive watch. It really is such a shame because this is otherwise such a fantastic watch, but I think the bracelet and the clasp do kind of let it down a little bit. I get why the faux rivets are there, as it's a reissue of the 1958 Tudor Submariner, which had a riveted bracelet, and it does give it that vintage feel. But then seeing the Pelagos 39 without the faux rivets really cements in how much I don't care for them. Right, so that's basically everything there is to know when comparing these 3 watches. If it was me and my money in the year 2023, it would be the Pelagos 39. All day, every day. This is the one that would get my money. In 2020, when I got my Black Bay 58, it really did make sense. But now, with this watch on tap, I think it has kind of stolen my Tudor loving heart. Oh, I almost feel like I'm cheating on my Black Bay 58. For me, the P39 is kind of the meeting place of the traditional Pelagos and the Black Bay 58. It's all of the best things of the Black Bay 58 and all of the best things of the Pelagos pushed together. It has the looks of the Pelagos with the square indices, snowflake hands, and in titanium, but it has the same movement and specifications as the Black Bay 58. But hey, that's just me and my money. Watches and watch taste preferences, they're highly subjective and personal and unique to you. So I would love to know, comment down below, what is your favorite watch we've looked at today? If there was one getting your money, which one would it be? Or maybe none of them, maybe something else speaks to you. Tell us everything in those comments down below. Don't forget to do all that YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, feed the algorithm gods. Hit them with the Patreon song. Patrons, 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 you're the Pope tier patrons, and you're amazing. Has anyone told you, Pope tier patrons, that you're amazing? Actually, that's all tier patrons are amazing, but particularly shouting at the Pope tier patrons. Yeah. All right. Hello to all of you who have made it all the way to the very, very end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Honestly, my Tudor loving heart, it was just a pure joy to make. I just wanted to take another minute to quickly thank Luke, who let me borrow this amazing watch. It truly has only cemented in how much I think I need one of these. Oh, just incredible. Thank you, Luke. You're amazing. You're fantastic, wonderful. Gringa subscribers are the best. I've had too many people loan me watches. In fact, next Sunday is more loaned watches. I've got 3 generations of GMT Masters and GMT Master 2s, so I'm excited for that one. Have a lovely rest of your weekend, guys. You are amazing. You're fabulous. You're wonderful. Okay. I'm gonna go now. The video is over.